Julianna over here. Obviously, big fight on a title that you've wanted back since your last fight, and against an opponent that I feel like you've kind of been circling for pretty much both of your entire career. So I guess how was camp, and I guess what are the emotions now that are only a few days removed from this fight that you've been calling for?
Camp was amazing. I feel like I've been thinking about this fight for the last 18 months. There is a part of it that feels surreal. I can't believe that it's actually here. It doesn't feel real, but I'm happy, I'm motivated, I'm excited, I'm ready to go.
Has it felt like one long fight camp for you? Because even after Amanda's last fight and she retired, Dana White at the post-fight in Vancouver was like, Julianna's probably going to fight for the title, whoever she's fighting next. And obviously you weren't ready to go. So has this just felt like one long, drawn-out fight camp since your last fight?
I'll tell you, the hardest part for me in all of my preparations is never my opponent. It's always myself and making sure that my body is healthy, willing, and able to carry me through the fight. So, yes, it's always felt like one big fight in order to get to the actual fight. And it's not necessarily about anything else other than is my body willing and able, and is it going to carry me through to get inside the octagon?
And obviously, the big story is, from your time on The Ultimate Fighter to now, I think you guys are the only two fighters left from that season still in the UFC. So I'm curious, did you ever think Raquel would get to this point? Like, when you were sharing a room with her and training with her and being around her, did you see her ever reaching the championship or fighting for the title even back then?
I have to be honest, and I don't mean this in any sort of disrespectful way, but I've never thought about Raquel and her fighting and what she's doing and how her career is going and the trajectory of how she's going. It's always just been a focus on me and myself and what I know I can do.
Were you surprised that she was the one welcoming you back with the title? Because I know you and Myra had some issues and people thought it would be you two matched up, and then Raquel stepped in. Did you ever think it would be her holding the belt when you would return?
No. To answer your question, no, I did not. However, I will say that she has earned the opportunity, and she, did everything that she needed to do in order to, get gold. To me, it has always felt almost like she was fighting for an interim, just because I fell out with Amanda and I wasn't able to make that fight. Let me also piggyback that with, it was my fault. It was my fault that I wasn't able to fight with Amanda, and it was my fault that she was fighting for an interim. So the only person that I can blame is myself.
She said that you've been avoiding citing the dotted line for like a long time. She said that in a few interviews now. Like, were you guys ever matched up after The Ultimate Fighter?
No, and that's the part that doesn't make sense. We've never had a fight. They've never offered me Raquel. They never said to fight Raquel. Ever since I won The Ultimate Fighter, I have always been looking in front of my windshield. I've never been looking in the rearview mirror. So I've always been going up the ladder, and I haven't been focusing too much on, down the ladder.
She also said that she even prepared for two fights for this, Kayla and Julianna, in case Julianna pulls out again or anything like that. Do you think she's just saying that, or do you think she actually did try to prepare for two fights?
The only reason why I laughed at that statement is I was like, yeah, it's true. I always do get injured, so it's good for her. She will have realized that she made a mistake on Saturday night.
And then last one for me, I think you were in Manchester, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
To watch Bilal.
Yeah.
And at his media day, he said that, Chicago sports isn't in the best shape right now, and he wanted to kind of take that mantle and run with it as like the champion in Chicago. So I guess what was it like seeing him win the title and then, possibly getting the second title back to Chicago?
Well, that was my hope too when I won it the first time. I won the belt, I brought it back to the lake, and I was trying to make, Chicago sports scene, trying to motivate those Bears and trying to motivate, all the White Sox and anybody else I could that was playing professional sports in Chicago. Not so much my luck there. Bilal's doing a great job of representing the city of Chicago, and I'm looking forward to, bringing the belt back again so that we can both, especially coming from the same gym, be representing Chicago and being champions and hopefully motivating the other teams to, step up their game. Yeah, it's not looking too hot for the White Sox.
Julianna, right over here. You're one of the few fighters on this card who can say that they've competed in Utah before. Right before you got to The Ultimate Fighter, you competed here in Orem, Utah. Is that kind of a leg up for you, knowing that you've tested the waters of this elevation, which is always a storyline coming into Salt Lake City?
I will say it's what gives me confidence. I'll take you back to that time period in my life. In February of that year, I got ran over by a car walking on the sidewalk. A few months later, not even, my instructor, who's also a promoter in Spokane, Washington, said, my main event fell out, and I need you to step up on short notice. And it had only been a couple of months since I had my nose shattered, which is this gigantic scar you see here, and since I jacked up my neck and my back from getting ran over. I took the fight on short notice. I got armbarred in front of all my friends and family, and I was so upset because I was like, I quit, I'm done. It was so embarrassing. It was my first loss experiencing that, and I was very embarrassed, but I was done with the sport. Fearing that I was done, he said, called me up, you have a fight in less than 2 weeks. I was about 153 pounds or something like that, and I had to make 125 here in Salt Lake City. So on 2 weeks' notice, I missed weight for the first and last time in my career at 127. They did not give me the pound, which I think I needed another pound too. So anyways, I was at 127. I came in. I remember my instructor pulling me out of the sauna by the scruff of my neck because I had passed out in the sauna, and we thought I was dead. They didn't give me an IV. They wouldn't let me rehydrate. My hands were cramped up like this, and I lost a hometown decision to a girl from here, Salt Lake City. So for me, it was like, wow, if that doesn't give you the confidence that you can fight like in Salt Lake City on 2 weeks' notice, coming off of the couch, doing absolutely nothing, and going to a decision which you could say, obviously I'm always going to be biased. I'm like, it could have gone either way. So for me, that is another thing that gives me a little added confidence, like that I'll be okay.
Given that tumultuous lead up to that fight, is there some sort of a personal redemption arc for you here, trying to look back and get that title back?
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, that was one of the challenges that I wanted to give to myself is, back then it wasn't in your favor, but this time it's going to be different. That's it.
Julianna, right over here. You said that this is the biggest fight of your life and the most important fight of your career. Did that lead to any different preparations or, training coming into this one, any more intensity than normal?
I know that this is going to sound cliche, but every single fight that I fight is the biggest fight of my life. But I feel like, especially at this day and age, the window of fighting for me narrows day by day by day. I am not no spring chicken no more. I'm not 21 years old, But with that being said comes experience, comes a bit of wiseness in the game. I feel like, again, every fight is the biggest fight of my life, but especially this one because I'm going for gold again, and you're not going to get 100 chances to fight for the belt. It took me a long time of calling for the belt to want to get to this point, and now that I'm at this point, it's to maintain, and I'm always going to be in these championship fights. So these are gigantic fights for me, and I'm going to do everything that I can to seize the moment.
And Raquel said that in the end, it's going to come down to who wants this more. How confident are you that you want this championship victory more than your opponent?
I believe that I want this opportunity and that this championship belt means more to me than it does to her. And it's very clear when you match us up side by side. Raquel has not been a good representation of the women's bantamweight division. She has not promoted. She has said no to embedded. She has constantly done everything that she can to avoid being the face of women's MMA and not being that big face that wants to promote and be that great representation of women's MMA. That to me is, you're telling me nothing, but you're showing me everything, or you're showing me nothing, but you're telling me everything, by not being that person that is letting everybody know that you're fighting. I want to be that person. That's my role, and I can do it better. And that's why I believe that I'm going to be able to seal the deal on Saturday night and get that gold again.
And last question from me: how has your coach Wayne Gregory helped and influenced you throughout your MMA journey up to this point? Now getting ready to fight for this title.
If you go back and you YouTube Wayne's name, you'll see many knockouts, many fights. He's been fighting since he learned how to fight and learned how to box at 5 years old, and he has his own career that he had as a fighter. It started in the United States, and then it moved to Thailand, and then it came back to the United States. So when it comes to picking a brain of another fighter who can give you advice and guidance, I feel incredibly grateful and blessed and honored to be able to learn from him, as well as my other coaches, Mike Valley and Luis Claudio. These are experts in their field. I feel like I have the best team of experts around me. It's not just about Wayne, but it's a collective whole. And when I know that I have experts in jiu-jitsu, experts experts in mixed martial arts, experts in boxing and Muay Thai, I feel like, wow, I am really, they are setting the stage for me. They are setting the table for me to just go in there and do my job. And they make it easy because of the preparation that they give to me. Mm-hmm.
Julianna, one more over here. When you were talking about how, like, Raquel, she hasn't been this representation of women's MMA because she's not promoting, is it, like, I know you're focused on the fight on Saturday, but there's obviously this big name that's also on this card in Kayla, and I think when you fought Amanda, that brought a lot of eyeballs to the sport because people always said Amanda needed a foil that could challenge her on the mic, and Kayla seems to be already promoting a fight with you, and you don't even have a fight lined up yet against her, so are you not looking past Raquel, but, like, are you kind of excited about the possibility of just the build-up to a fight with Kayla Harrison and the press conferences and the medias and the embeddeds that it could lead to in the eyes on this division?
Again, I like how you phrased that question because you said not looking past Raquel. My goal, my job is to be looking in front of my windshield right now. And Raquel is in front of my windshield right now. Kayla's in the rearview mirror. Kayla has a job to do, and I have a job to do. I need to get my hand raised on Saturday night. When that happens, then we can talk about Kayla. But right now, it's all about me and Raquel Pennington.
Obviously, this fight's been a long time coming, so how do you see it playing out on Saturday?
The way that I see the fight playing out is getting my hand raised. I am confident in my preparation. I will tell you that once that cage door closes, I haven't seen anybody that has the mindset, the determination, the will, and the grit that I possess. And I think that that's what's going to carry me through to victory.
And obviously, I know that you're focused on your fight, but who do you have in the main event?
I don't know. I haven't given a lot of watch to the countdown and to Embedded to be able to, give my little, crystal ball predictions of who I think is going to win. I like both gentlemen. I think that they're both excellent fighters, and I know that the fans are in for an exciting and an incredible main event. Thank you.